Hey there, and welcome to Weeb Novel Audiobook, your hub for epic fanfics, original stories, and thrilling adventures brought to life. Make sure to subscribe for regular updates and swing by my Patreon for early access and exclusive mature content. Now, sit back and enjoy the journey.
Chapter 11, First kill. The three-colored rabbit swayed left and right after it was attacked. Blood poured down like rain and covered the ground around it. It opened its mouth and tried to make a sound, but it choked on its own blood and began to vomit blood as well. Despite all this, the three-colored rabbit still tried to escape into the forest. Its desperate struggle made it look so pitiful that Alex felt very bad for it. He felt very bad at the death of the magic beasts, and a strong wave of anger surged in his chest. Shortly after, the rabbit finally lost all strength and fell to the ground. Blood kept gushing out from the wound in its neck, but it was already dead. Alex's eyes flashed, and he turned to look at the culprit that had killed the rabbit he had set free. Strong killing intent surged within him, and the mana in his body surged as well. The shadow that had ambushed the rabbit turned out to be a single horned snake. Alex recognized the snake at first glance. He remembered it from the knowledge that the previous Alex had gathered from reading many books. This snake was a magic beast with a special poison that would make one bleed excessively from a single bite, even if it was a small prick. This would make its victim bleed to death in a very short time. The single-horned snake that was 3 meters long and had a few centimeters long horn poking out of its small head slowly slithered toward the dead rabbit. It was about to feast after a successful hunt. Alex realized that the snake was also a common ranked magic beast. As for why it was able to kill the rabbit in a single strike despite the two of them being in the same rank, it was pretty obvious. It had sneaked up on the other party, plus, it was a born hunter that fed on other beasts and was very familiar with killing. Plus, there were strength differences even amongst beasts of the same rank. The snake didn't seem to have noticed Alex, who was up on the tree as it moved toward the dead rabbit. It opened its small mouth that later stretched to a frightening extent as it took a large bite from the rabbit. Alex's eyes twitched behind his mask. Since you willingly kill others, then you don't have any issues being killed as well, Alex mumbled to himself as his eyes turned silver white. The one-horned snake was a magic beast that was both dangerous to humans and other magic beasts, so Alex had no problem killing it. 10 dazzling silver-white stars appeared behind Alex and connected into 2 star patterns in under a second, and a burst of silver energy rushed into his body. He was about to use a core space spell. Space bullet, Alex mumbled softly as he pointed a finger at the snake on the ground. Freeobnovel.com Pium. A sound that was akin to whistling sounded as an invisible bullet shot from Alex's finger and sped toward the one-horned snake. The space bullet was a core spell that created invisible bullets that were as powerful as the mage's mental strength. It was difficult to detect and was incredibly fast as well. The space bullet that Alex had shot traveled through space in less than a split second and quickly arrived above the snake. Boom! The space bullet pierced through the one-horned snake effortlessly before crashing into the ground and causing the ground to shake as if a meteor had crashed into the ground. A one-shot kill. The snake didn't even detect a thing before it died. The attack had been too sudden and powerful. Immediately after Alex killed the snake, a notification appeared in front of his eyes. Mission complete, 10 EXP. Detected that the host has acquired his first kill. The host has received a gift from the system. Skill, Craftsman. Craftsman, the host can use EXP points to create spells related to his elements. The amount of EXP used in crafting will be determined by the system based on the strength of the spell crafted. Alex. His mind went blank for a few seconds after reading the notification from the system. Alex had to read it 3 more times to make sure that he wasn't seeing things. After reading for the 4th time, Alex was certain that it was the real deal. His eyes weren't playing tricks on him. He felt like screaming and dancing as his body was experiencing unimaginable excitement at the moment. Alex felt like screaming, and his whole body was trembling. What did this mean? It meant that the system was giving him Sage Mage rank privileges in advance. One had to know that in the Mage system, there were limited numbers of spells that mages of different elements could use. Take the space element, for instance. At the adept rank, mages could only use one spell, which was the popular telekinesis. They would have to wait till they break through to the core rank before they could learn more spells, which were the space wall that was used as defense and the space bullet that Alex had just used to kill the one-horned snake. After that, they would need to reach the expert mage rank before they could then learn an additional spell, space cut. To put it simply, space mages could only use the already established 6 spells that were scattered through the various ranks until the sage rank, where they would then be able to create their own spell. As for why it was like that, Alex didn't know. He just learned that it had always been like that for as long as magic had existed on Eldora. Mages of the various elements could only use the established spells that had been widely spread through the planet. Only those at and above the sage rank could create more spells and decide whether or not to teach them to younger generations. But who would waste their time creating weak spells that would be useless to them after reaching the sage rank? Thus the reason why the number of spells that everyone below the sage rank could cast had remained the same. But with this skill, Alex had literally been exempted. He no longer needed to wait for the sage rank before he could create other spells. This also meant that he could use more spells than other mages of the same rank. Barely calming down his excitement, Alex called out his system profile and the screen appeared in front of him immediately. Almighty Path System, Error, Host, Alex Zorin level, 8 EXP for next level, 200/100, Error, Rank, Low Stage, Core Mage Rank Elements, Space. Lightning Special Abilities, Dual Element Body, the host can use 2 elements. Void Walk, the host can move through the void between 2 fixed locations, cannot change directions midway, distance depends on the strength of the host. Aura Master, the host can mask his rank and show a fake rank must be lower than true rank. Craftsman, the host can use EXP points to create spells related to his elements. The amount of EXP used in crafting will be determined by the system based on the strength of the spell crafted. Special items, All-Knowing Mask, the host has master level appraisal knowledge, and can conceal himself from the prying of others. Pendant of Deterrence, the host can release the aura of a powerful mage from the pendant. The aura from the pendant will be 2 ranks higher than the target of the host. Indestructible Robe, a robe that can block a strike of anyone below the sage stage. Alex's eyes sparked with excitement. It was there, the skill was there, and he could use it anytime. Alex then looked at his EXP that was currently at 200 and could allow him to level up twice. He already had 190 points before coming and killing that one-horned snake had added 10 points to it. Alex concluded that it was indeed better to kill beasts to farm EXP points. Had he stuck to reading, it would have taken him longer to get 10 EXP points, since he would need to finish the whole book to get just 5 EXP points. Although killing beasts has its own risk, it's still faster than reading. Moreover, I'm currently at the edge of the border, so I shouldn't encounter any powerful magic beasts. Alex concluded, and these 2 dead beasts on the ground confirmed his judgment. Both were weak beasts, so the rest in this region shouldn't be stronger. After this, Alex returned his focus to his new skill and the 200 EXP points he had. He contemplated if he should use them to level up and increase his rank, or use them to test out his new skill and try creating his first spell. Would the system also reward me for creating my first spell? It seemed to be rewarding me for doing things for the first time. Alex thought to himself, his eyes filled with expectations. He was looking forward to other things that the system would give him. Sadly, he didn't know the requirements for unlocking the system's gifts. He would just wait and see. Chapter 12, Testing the Lightning Element. In the end, Alex didn't level up, nor did he use his EXP points to try out his new skills. He would keep it like that for now and keep exploring. He was confident that he should be able to hunt some weak beasts with his current strength, which was at the low level of the core rank. After having this thought, he jumped down from the tree and approached the two dead beasts on the ground. One of the reasons he had come out was to farm EXP points, the other reason was to get beast corpses and cores that he would sell for money. Alex got close to the two corpses and easily located the two mana cores in their bodies. As a former bookworm, he knew a lot about magic beasts and where their cores were located. Alex first dug out the core of the one-horned snake using his hands. A small crystal that contained mana could be seen in his hand, and small blood stains could be seen on it. A grade 1 beast core, better than nothing, Alex mumbled to himself as he stored the beast core in the storage bracelet. Just like the 5 ranks of magic beasts, beast cores were also classified into 5 ranks, starting from grade 1 to grade 5. Grade 1 beast cores were found in common rank magic beasts, while grade 5 cores could be obtained from calamity rank magic beasts. Beast cores were very valuable items in Eldora, hence the reason they were sought after and expensive. They were practically the energy supply for anything that required energy to work. Vehicles, machines, magic items, formations and barriers, mobile devices, and even power supplies for buildings. The higher the grade of the beast cores, the more useful and more valuable they were. This was also the reason why grade 1 beast cores were not completely useless despite the weak amount of mana in them. After storing the core of the 3-colored rabbit, Alex proceeded to store the bodies of the 2 beasts as well. Their cores weren't the only valuable items after all. He got up after storing the 2 beasts' corpses and looked around to make sure that no other beasts were hiding in wait. Alex shook his head and lamented that he probably should have done this before coming down from the tree. Whatever might have been waiting would have attacked him long ago while he was looting. Time to find more beasts. And said joyfully, he was in high spirits due to the system's gift. He jumped back to the tree branch before heading deeper into the forest. His speed was fast, and he was soon gone in a few seconds. Some time later, after Alex left the scene where the 2 beasts had lost their lives, a bizarre scene occurred. Space twisted and bent out of reality as a sound that was similar to shattering glass rang through the air. Space cracked open, and a rift appeared in the air as if the void had been torn open. It was a crack. A crack was a tear in space through which demons entered Eldora from their realm. Demons were creatures that were strong and could use magic just like mages. The weakest of them were usually as strong as transformation rank beasts. The crack that had appeared in the air grew larger and larger, soon reaching a 10-meter long crack. The entrance of the crack was pitch black as if it was filled with black gas. Nothing could be seen on the other side. I definitely sensed it. It was here just now, but how did it suddenly disappear? A hoarse voice sounded from the other side of the crack. The owner of the voice didn't step through the crack and just spoke from the other side. Everywhere fell silent for a while after the voice spoke. It was as if it was observing something. After an entire minute of silence, the voice sounded once again. Maybe I was just imagining. It's almost impossible anyways. 2 should not exist at the same time. The hoarse voice spoke once more as the crack slowly began to close up. It took a while for space to amend itself and the crack to disappear. Everything returned to normal, and it was as if the scene just now hadn't happened. Meanwhile, Alex continued to search for more beasts through the forest. Not long after he left where he had killed the OMG horned snake, he encountered another monster. Walking slowly through the forest was a 5-meter huge black wolf with red fur around its neck. Another common rank magic beast. Alex stood on a high tree branch and observed the movements of the wolf. The beast didn't seem to be searching for something in particular and was really just on a stroll. It moved slowly between the 3 and even walked in circles a few times. Alex began to guess that it might even be on patrol. But this shouldn't be right, Alex muttered under his breath while looking at the beast. This was because he recognized the beast. It was a moonlight wolf, and one thing that was well known about these beasts was that they always moved in packs. Alex decided not to act yet and kept following the moonlight wolf. They moved for 5 minutes and covered a distance of 200 meters through the forest. Alex kept jumping from tree to tree silently as he followed the wolf. his robe made it even easier for him as it didn't produce any sounds. So this was why, Alex exclaimed silently as a look of realization flashed past his eyes. After following the wolf for 5 minutes, the beast returned to a small clearing in the middle of huge trees. Here, there were 6 other similar-looking wolves waiting for it. The wolf that Alex had found had been acting as bait. Alex almost face-palmed. How could he have forgotten? This was one of the Moonlight Wolves' hunting style, baiting other beasts before ambushing them together. Too bad they encountered me. Alex's eyes brightened as he looked at the 7 wolves. All he could see were EXP points, 35 EXP points. Without a second wasted, Alex's eyes glowed with silver-white light as the 10 stars of the space element appeared behind him and connected into 2 star patterns. Space bullets. Alex called out as he held out the fingers of his 2 hands like handguns and aimed at the wolves on the ground. Pyam pyam pyam. Space bullets whistled through the air and shot toward the beasts. Bang. 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 Loud sounds rang through the forest as the space bullets pierced through the bodies of 5 wolves at once before crashing into the ground and creating large holes. Fist-sized holes immediately appeared on the bodies of the wolves through which blood poured out. They fell to the ground and died without struggling. The remaining 2 wolves were startled by the sudden deaths of their pack mates. Their furs stood on ends as they looked around vigilantly. Both of them took fearful steps back and were ready to flee at any moment. Whatever could kill 5 of their own without even showing itself was not something they could fight. Up on the 3, Alex ignored the bloody scene of the dead wolves and placed his focus on the remaining 2. For some reason, the current scene made him excited. He wasn't bothered by the blood in the slightest. Ignoring the series of notifications from the system, Alex jumped down from the tree branch that he was standing on previously upon seeing that the wolves were about to run away. "Oh no, you don't, wait for me to test the lightning element," Alex called out as his eyes turned glowing purple. 5 dazzling purple stars that flickered with purple lightning appeared behind him and connected into a star pattern as he dropped to the ground. Alex was about to use an adept spell, so he didn't need to form 2 star patterns. The 2 wolves finally discovered Alex's location due to his shout just now. They looked up, and their bodies almost jumped out of their furs when they saw a masked figure with a star pattern behind him dropping down on them. Even though these wolves were beasts with low-level intelligence, they still knew how to identify danger. This figure who was dropping down on them was definitely dangerous. Run. Without thinking twice, the 2 wolves turned around and fled in different directions with their tails in between their legs, but it was too late, as Alex had already reached the ground. "Not so fast, Spark," Alex said as he called out the name of the spell. Spark was one of the 2 spells available for adept rank mages. Purple energy poured into Alex's body, and powerful lightning burst out from his palm. It was as if he was holding a ball of chaotic lightning. He turned toward one of the fleeing wolves and dashed toward it, catching up to it in less than 2 seconds. The wolf was only at the common rank anyway. How could it possibly hope to run away from Alex, who was a core mage? Alex caught up with the beast and slapped at it with the lightning covering his right hand. Bam! His palm landed on the body of the wolf like a heavy punch. The wolf let out a pitiful whimper as the lightning rushed into its body, scorching its body and frying its inside. At the same time, its body flew off the ground and slammed into a tree that was a few meters away. Its body trembled silently from the residual power of the lightning before becoming still. The smell of burned meat filled the air. The wolf was dead. Mission complete, 5 EXP. The notification from the system further confirmed it. The wolf had been fried and scorched to death by the lightning. "One more left," Alex said as he looked back. Chapter 13, Close Combat Mage. While he was killing this wolf, the 7th wolf had fled without looking back and had already crossed tens of meters by the time Alex had finished dealing with this one. Although it was only a magic beast at the common beast rank, its speed was still pretty fast as it zigzagged through the forest. But this wasn't a problem for Alex. The space element was rare and overpowered. thus the reason why it had very few spells. The lightning element was different. At the adept rank and the core rank, mages could use 4 spells. Facing the direction that the wolf had run in, Alex's eyes glowed with purple light again as the stars of the lightning element appeared behind him. This time, however, there were 10 stars. He was about to use a core spell of the lightning element. The stars connected quickly and formed 2 star patterns before releasing energy into Alex's body. Lightning charge. Alex called out the name of the spell in a soft tone. Ferocious arcs of purple lightning flickered around his black robe and mask after he called out the spell. Just as the name of the spell implied, lightning charge was a movement spell that would allow a mage to move as fast as lightning for a short period. After casting the spell, Alex slowly took a step forward and disappeared. Whoosh! His speed was mind-blowing as he turned into a streak of black and purple light as he sped through the forest and approached the frantically fleeing wolf. Thankfully, he was a core mage and his vision was able to keep up with his speed, so he didn't crash into any of the surrounding trees and carefully avoided them. Alex quickly caught up with the running wolf. He arrived beside it and kept running with it for a while. The beast was horrified upon seeing the masked human who was covered in lightning running beside it. A look of panic appeared in its eyes, and it tried to run in another direction, but how could Alex allow it? Since he was already using a spell, Alex didn't cast another spell and simply threw a punch at the wolf. His fist was so fast that the wolf didn't have time to react. Bam! Alex's punch, covered in small arcs of purple lightning, landed on the side of the wolf with a powerful impact. The sound was thundering, followed by the sounds of bones shattering. Powerful lightning rushed into the body of the wolf and scorched it while it was sent flying. It slammed into a huge tree a few meters away and dropped to the ground. It was dead, scorched by lightning, and its insides had been shattered by Alex's powerful punch. Alex had also stopped running after sending the other party flying with a punch. A notification appeared in front of his eyes. Mission complete, 10 EXP. Daily mission complete. Kill 2 magic beasts 8 halves weekly mission complete. Kill 8/5 magic beast. Reward, 10 EXP. While storing the body of the wolf, Alex called out his system profile. Almighty Path System, Error, Host, Alex Zorin level, 8 EXP for next level, 280/100, Error, Rank, Low Stage, Core Mage Rank Elements, Space. Lightning Special Abilities, Dual Element Body, the host can use 2 elements. Void Walk, the host can move through the void between 2 fixed locations, cannot change directions midway, distance depends on the strength of the host. Aura Master, the host can mask his rank and show a fake rank must be lower than true rank. Craftsman, the host can use EXP points to create spells related to his elements. The amount of EXP used in crafting will be determined by the system based on the strength of the spell crafted. Special items, All-Knowing Mask, the host has master level appraisal knowledge, and can conceal himself from the prying of others. Pendant of Deterrence, the host can release the aura of a powerful mage from the pendant. The aura from the pendant will be 2 ranks higher than the target of the host. Indestructible Robe, a robe that can block a strike of anyone below the Sage stage. 90 EXP points in just a few minutes. I made the right choice by coming here, reading would not be so fast. Alex nodded in self-approval. He had gotten 80 points from killing the one-horned snake and the 7 moonlight wolves and an additional 10 EXP from completing the weekly mission, and all of this was under an hour. Alex was very pleased. The only thing that saddened him was that he didn't get another gift for using the lightning element for the first time. I guess spells don't count as requirements for receiving gifts. Alex chuckled softly while returning to where the bodies of the other wolves were. He casually stored them in his storage bracelet before heading deeper into the forest. Many hours later. Space Wall. Alex called out as the 10 silver-white stars glowed behind him. He raised both hands and stretched them out in front of him. An almost invisible wall that was dozens of meters tall instantly appeared in front of him just in time for a beast that was the size of an elephant but was covered in brown scales and rather fast for its size to arrive before him and crashed into the space wall. Bam! The sound of the beast crashing into Alex's space wall echoed, and the beast stumbled back a few steps while roaring. The collision made it disoriented for a moment. After successfully blocking the beast's charge, Alex cancelled the spell and rushed toward the beast. He arrived beside it almost instantly and summoned the stars of the lightning element. 5 purple stars appeared and formed a star pattern almost instantly. Lightning ball. Alex called out as a ball of lightning that was the size of a human's head formed on his palm, which he proceeded to slam into the body of the beast. Boom! It was as if a mini explosion had taken place as the lightning ball rampaged through the body of the beast, tearing its brown scales and ravaging its inside with unstoppable force. The beast let out a loud, painful roar after taking the hit and staggered. A large scorched hole was on the side of its body as the lightning ball had blasted its flesh into pieces. Blood didn't flow out for a while because the lightning had dried up everything in that area. After staggering for a few seconds, the beast finally gave up and fell to the ground with a loud bang. At the same time, a notification appeared in front of Alex's eyes. Mission complete, 10 EXP. Daily mission complete. Kill 23 halves magic beasts. Weekly mission complete. Kill 23 fifths magic beasts. Reward 30 EXP. Alex had killed 15 more magic beasts in the past hours and had completed the weekly mission 4 times in a single day. The reason why he hadn't killed more beasts was because he didn't find any more beasts that moved in packs like those moonlight wolves. All the beasts he encountered were moving alone, and he took a few minutes before locating one. Another reason why Alex had killed so few beasts in the past hours was because he was using these beasts to train himself. Instead of directly killing the beasts in one go as he was very much capable of doing so, he decided to train a battle style that might help him in fights in future. Take this huge beast, for instance. Alex could have killed it with a single spell but chose to engage it in a close fight. This was something that other mages would not dare to do because it was too dangerous. Most mages needed at least 2 to 3 seconds to complete magic patterns before they could cast spells. Only true geniuses could do it in 1 or split seconds, but even then, it was still dangerous if a beast was charging right at them. But Alex didn't have this problem as the system would help him connect the stars in next to no time. He had no problems engaging magic beasts in close combat. Also, only someone like Alex would consider killing 23 beasts in a couple of hours as slow. Other mages would be happy if they could kill 5 or 7 in an entire day. While digging out the beast core of the beast he had just killed, Alex called out his system profile and the screen appeared. Almighty Path System, Error, Host, Alex Zorin level, 8 EXP for next level, 460/100, Error, Rank, Low Stage, Core Mage Rank Elements, Space. Lightning Special Abilities, Dual Element Body, the host can use 2 elements. Void Walk, the host can move through the void between 2 fixed locations, cannot change directions midway, distance depends on the strength of the host. Aura Master, the host can mask his rank and show a fake rank must be lower than true rank. Craftsman, the host can use EXP points to create spells related to his elements. The amount of EXP used in crafting will be determined by the system based on the strength of the spell crafted. Special items, All-Knowing Mask, the host has master level appraisal knowledge, and can conceal himself from the prying of others. Pendant of Deterrence, the host can release the aura of a powerful mage from the pendant. The aura from the pendant will be 2 ranks higher than the target of the host. Indestructible Robe, a robe that can block a strike of anyone below the Sage stage. Chapter 14, Crafting the first spell. Alex was very pleased with the result of his hunt. He had gotten more than he would have if he spent the whole day reading. He could still even continue reading when he returned home. The Almighty Path System is truly mighty. He nodded in satisfaction as he pulled out the core of the beast and quietly stored it. Alex looked at the corpse of the beast with reluctance in his eyes. Along the way, he had been forced to abandon the corpses of many beasts that he had killed. To be precise, he had stopped storing beast corpses after his 11th kill, and this was because he could no longer store them, as the storage bracelet that he was given at the Union had just enough room for a few and was almost filled up. He had resorted to taking their beast cores instead. At least they would still fetch him some money. It was better than leaving everything. Still, the thought of the amount of money he would lose by abandoning these corpses made his heart arch. At this moment, an idea immediately popped into his head, and his eyes brightened behind his mask. "Of course, how could I have forgotten?" Alex exclaimed. In his previous world, he had read of so many characters who were able to store items and even living beings in a different space that could not be found in their world. Wasn't such an ability just like his space element? At the thought of this, Alex immediately thought of his new skill, and a screen appeared before him. He couldn't help wondering if the system would reward him for creating his first spell, but that was a side thought. Skill, Craftsman, create a spell. Please select which element the host wants to craft a spell for, space element/lightning element. The notification popped up on the screen in front of him, and Alex calmly picked the space element. Selected, space element. Please choose a crafting option, customized crafting/auto craft. Another notification appeared in front of him, and Alex raised an eyebrow at the two options. Customized crafting and auto craft? He was a bit puzzled, but had some idea as to what the two options meant. The system did not explain the settings, so he had to guess for himself. After giving it some thought, Alex picked the customized crafting, and another notification appeared. Selected, customized crafting. Please describe the spell you want to create. Alex contemplated for a while before describing what he had in mind. It only took him a few seconds to come up with the idea he wanted. The system screen displayed the leading command for a while before a list of spells and the amount of EXP needed to create them appeared in front of him. Alternate world allows the host to create a small world in an independent space that's not affected by the condition of the real world. Price 100,000 EXP. Space dimension, a space that grows along with the host and can store anything, including living beings. Starting space, 5,000 meters. Price, 50,000 EXP. Spatial rift, a chaotic space that can only be accessed by the host. Space inside is unlimited but unstable and unfit for living beings. Price, 20,000 EXP. Spatial. Alex's mind was blown away by the explanations of the spells the system had come up with, but the price of each spell immediately ruined every expectation he had. Those prices were not something the current him could afford. Thankfully, the list didn't just have those expensive spells. A list of spells with affordable prices also appeared at the bottom of the list, but their downsides were apparent. They couldn't accept living beings, so whatever was to enter either had to be dead or an object. Alex took a look at the bottom of the list and quickly found one that he liked. Space Pocket, a growth-type spatial storage spell. The internal space can be expanded by spending EXP points or increasing the host's strength. Time inside the pocket is frozen, no living being can survive in it. Price, 500 EXP. Current capacity 50 square meters. Expansion cost +1 square meter per 10 EXP points. Alex has decided to create this spell. Not only did it fit his liking, but its current storage capacity was enough for his current situation, and the requirement for increasing the space also perfectly suited him. But most importantly, it was the cheapest. Let's get this one then, Alex had decided. He was still 40 EXP short, but that wasn't a problem for him. He still had a few hours before nightfall and enough mana to hunt more beasts. This time, he wasn't going to waste time engaging in close fights and would kill them directly. Immediately after thinking of this, Alex set off. Sometime later. Space Bullet. Mission complete, 10 EXP. Take this punch. Mission complete, 10 EXP. Lightning ball. Half an hour later, Alex could be seen standing on top of what seemed like a giant beetle with 6 transparent wings attached to its back. He had killed the 4 beasts in less than an hour. He didn't bother digging out the beast score as he focused on the system. Daily mission complete. Kill Magic Beasts 27 halves weekly mission complete. Kill Magic Beasts 27 fifths reward, 10 EXP. Alex had completed the weekly mission for the 5th time, hence earning him another 10 points. He looked at his current EXP points. 510/100. He sighed with emotions. This amount of EXP could help him level up 5 times and take his strength to the next rank. Getting the space pocket spell is more important. I can always come back tomorrow, Alex said to himself as a form of self-consolation before giving a mental note for the system to craft the spell. A notification that said crafting immediately appeared in front of him, which only lasted for a few seconds before disappearing along with all of his EXP points and leaving him with a pitiful 2 digits. My EXP. Alex lamented inwardly at the speed at which his EXP vanished, but the next notification from the system immediately brightened his mood. Ding. The spell has been crafted successfully and added to the host spell slot. Requirement for casting spell, 2-star patterns. Alex read the information about the spell, and his eyes lit up. The system classified it as a core spell. Worth it? Alex said at the thought of the 500 EXP he had just spent. Looking down at the body of the beetle, Alex's eyes glowed with silver-white light as 10 stars of the space element appeared and connected. Space pocket, he mumbled softly and placed his right hand on the body of the beast. Immediately after his hand landed on the beast, it disappeared without a trace. It had entered his space pocket. Sweet, Alex's face beamed behind his mask. He immediately turned around and went to where he had killed the other beasts. He was going to retrieve his money. Chapter 15, Void Rocket was currently getting late. The sun was no longer up in the sky, and the clouds were no longer as bright as before. It was common sense for explorers to look for safe places to hide whenever they were exploring and night came, or to return to the city if they were close enough. While returning, Alex moved along the path where he had fought magic beasts and retrieved their corpses into his space pocket. He would place his hands on the corpses and cast the spell, making the beasts disappear into thin air. After some time, he had finally stored away the last beast's corpse and was ready to return. He took a look at the space of his space pocket using his consciousness and saw that there was still enough room for more beast corpses. As much as he wanted to keep hunting, he really had to return, so Alex took out his compass to know his exact location. After figuring out the direction of the city, he dashed toward it without wasting any time. Along the way, Alex came across the place where he had encountered his first beast, which was the 3-colored rabbit. Something caught his attention as he was about to run past, and he came to an abrupt stop. Alex walked over and picked up something from the ground. It was a piece of colorless rock that looked very out of place even though there were other pieces of rocks around the place. He held the piece of rock up and examined it. He could feel the chaotic mana radiating from it, yet at the same time, it felt like it didn't contain any mana. What a strange rock, Alex mumbled to himself. He couldn't recognize this rock even from the memories of the previous Alex. This was the first time seeing it for the both of them. Luckily, he didn't have to stay in oblivion for too long as the skill of his mask kicked into action the next moment. Ding. Unknown item found. Analyzing. Name, Void Rock. Details, a piece of rock that can only be found in the void, usually appears around newly opened cracks. Can be used to strengthen spatial formations and protective barriers. Alex. A void rock, it was a void rock. Holy hell. Alex felt like screaming as he looked at the small colorless rock in his hand. He didn't need anyone to tell him that what he was holding was more valuable than even a grade 4 beast core. But more important, was the origin of the void rock. They can only be found around newly opened cracks. Didn't that mean? Alex did not dare to finish his thought as he vigilantly looked around. He might not have known what a void rock was, but he knew very well what a crack was. It was a disaster. Demons with unimaginable strength were what appeared whenever a crack formed through space. A city like Balan City might not be able to escape heavy damage if one really appeared so close to it. But it doesn't seem like a crack appeared here. I won't be standing here without a sea of demons rushing towards me, that's for sure, Alex said to himself as another guess appeared in his mind. It could be that a powerful explorer had passed through here and dropped this void rock by accident. Though it also sounded absurd because whoever was able to come in possession of a void rock was obviously a powerful mage and it was near impossible for them to lose their things. This guess was more plausible than thinking that a crack had randomly spawned here, dropped this void rock, and then disappeared. Who was dumb enough to believe that? After coming to the conclusion that this void rock must have been misplaced by a powerful mage, Alex was in a better mood as he kept it. Since he found it, it was now his. The previous owner wouldn't be petty enough to come look for him, right? Experts shouldn't be too stingy. Alright, that's all for today. The night is coming faster, I don't want them to worry. Alex said as he rushed in the direction of the city borders. He was referring to his parents and sister in his words just now. It was the weekend, but he had left him so early in the morning and hadn't eaten anything aside from breakfast. Strangely, he wasn't hungry at all and still felt energetic. Alex soon came out of the forest after running for a couple of minutes and could now see the city borders in the distance. He dashed toward it like a black shadow and quickly arrived. The officers who were guarding immediately noticed him and quickly opened a path for him to pass through. "Welcome back, esteemed explorer, hope you had a good time outside." An officer smiled politely and greeted Alex. They were ordinary humans, after all, and couldn't afford to offend a mage. Alex didn't respond and simply nodded at him before walking off. The officers stretched their heads and looked at each other with uncertainty and confusion. Alex's white mask made it impossible for them to get his reaction. They didn't know if he was in a good mood or not. At least he didn't seem displeased at us. Damn those mages, acting mighty all the time. We might be ordinary people but we also risk our lives just like them. One of the soldiers cursed at Alex's retreating back but was instantly shunned by another of his colleagues. Don't run your tongue. What if he's a high-ranking mage and can hear you? We would all be in trouble because of you. Damn it, if you're so pained, go and use that anger to awaken them. Are you trying to pick a fight? I'm just trying to stay alive. Guess what? I'm going to kill you before a beast does. Hey, lower your weapons, no fighting. The border became noisy as some of the officers bickered amongst themselves while the rest of their colleagues tried to calm them. Meanwhile, Alex had already left for the commercial district. He found a place to take off his outfit before taking a taxi. After getting there, he found a quiet corner and put on his outfit again. This is becoming stressful, Alex grumbled as the all-knowing mask appeared on his face. Now that he had gone from Alex to Mr. Chen, Alex headed for the Union building which wasn't too far away. Upon entering, he saw many people gathered on the lowest floor. They included both mages and ordinary people. They were probably here to exchange what they had gotten from exploring or report back missions. Alex also attracted many eyes that looked at him with curiosity. His outfit was rather eye-catching, as it was rare to see someone wearing such a plain mask and black robe. The mages in the place could not sense Alex's rank and assumed that he was an ordinary person. They lost interest and returned to their business. Humph. Ain't nobody trying to be mysterious. Someone commented as he brushed past Alex, their shoulders almost touching. Alex gazed at the figure through his mask. He decided to ignore it and went to wait in the corner. There were lines of people waiting in front of the receptionists. He had to wait for his turn. Just as Alex sat on the seat, a voice sounded from the corner. "Ah, Mr. Chen, you've returned." Alex looked over. It was the man who had attended to him the 2 times he had come to the Union for business. Is this a coincidence or is he monitoring my movements? Alex wondered as he rose up and nodded at the man without saying a word. The latter was used to Mr. Chen's silent attitude and didn't find any problem with it. Making a gesture, he asked Alex to follow him. "I believe Mr. Chen would like to trade some of his earnings with us, please follow me," he said while leading the way. Alex silently followed behind him under the shocked gazes of many people. They were shocked because of the identity of the man who was attending to Alex. Chapter 16, Return to the Union Building. Alex followed behind the man in silence as they entered an elevator and ascended the Union Building. After a few seconds of going up, they stopped at a floor and the elevator opened, revealing a large hallway with large doors on both sides. "I believe you have a few beast corpses you would want to sell. This floor is filled with rooms that are especially used to sorting out beast corpses." The man gestured toward the many doors while Alex followed behind him. After walking for a while, they came to a stop in front of one of the many large doors and the man placed his right palm on the door before fusing mana into it. The door made a hissing sound before opening and they went in. Alex entered a spacious room that was at least 20 meters wide. The inside was way more spacious than it looked from outside. After entering the place, the door closed behind them with a clicking sound. "I believe this should be enough room for the beast corpses that you came with. You can start bringing them out." The man pointed at the large space of the room and said with a smile. He believed this because he knew how much space was in the storage bracelet he had given to Mr. Chen earlier. Instead of directly taking out the beast corpses in his possession, the man noticed that Mr. Chen was looking around the room as if he was searching for something and a thought immediately surfaced in his mind. "Ah, I noticed that Mr. Chen is a discreet person, so I purposely picked this room for your beast corpses assessment. There are no footage capturing devices, and no one can spy in from outside, so you can rest assured that whatever happens here will be kept between the two of us," he said to Alex with a reassuring look. Upon hearing this, Alex heaved a secret sigh of relief. He was still wondering how he was going to bring out the beast corpses that he had stored in his space pocket. After all, I like the storage bracelet. He needed to cast a spell before he could assess his space pocket. But now that he had learned that he didn't have to be worried about getting discovered, Alex had just one problem left. He turned his head at this moment and landed his gaze on the man behind him, his piercing gaze fixed on the man's forehead through the gaps in his mask. The man stared back at Alex with a speechless expression. He was confused as to why Mr. Chen was staring at him so intently. "Is there a problem, Mr. Chen?" he asked. Alex didn't respond. Instead, he shifted his gaze and looked at the door before looking back at the other party. It didn't take long for the other party to realize what Alex was insinuating. He wanted him to leave too. "Ah, of course. Excuse me. I'll be right outside, just infuse some of your mana into the door when you're done." The man offered a strange smile while retreating but was grumbling inwardly. He was still suspicious about this Mr. Chen because of his previous actions and appearance. Why was he still trying to be mysterious when he would still see whatever Mr. Chen was trying to hide in the end? It can't be that he's planning to do something unspeakable, nay, he thought to himself as he exited the room and the door closed behind him. Alex heaved another sigh after finally being left alone in the room. He took one last look around the room before walking to the middle of the room. He first took out the beast corpses in his storage bracelet. There were only 11 beast corpses inside the storage bracelet, and all of them were of different sizes, with the largest one being 10 meters large while the smallest was 2 meters huge. After emptying the contents of the storage bracelet, Alex picked out the beast cores that he had dug out before and kept them separately. The next moment, his eyes glowed with silver-white color as the 10 stars of the space element appeared behind him and connected, forming 2 star patterns almost instantly. "Space pocket," Alex chanted from behind his mask as a tear appeared in the air in front of him. Alex didn't need to personally put his hands into the space pocket to take out the things that he had kept. He could move the things inside with his thoughts and make them appear outside without warning. With that, Alex began to move out the beast corpses in his space pocket one after the other. These beasts were several times larger than the previous ones, so they quickly formed a small mountain as Alex piled them up. He also discovered that the room had a special kind of mechanism that erased the smell from the dead beasts and prevented their blood from staining the place. It was as if the ground was absorbing the blood from the beasts. Well, not many of the beasts still have blood left in them anyway, Alex mumbled to himself. He said this because only the beasts that he had killed with the space element and physical contact, as for the rest that were killed by his lightning element, the lightning had dried up all the blood in their bodies. That was how ferocious the lightning element was, brutal and destructive. Meanwhile, outside the door of the room where Alex was offloading the bodies of the beasts from his space pocket, a man stood with his back pressed against the wall with his arms folded in front of his chest. He had a serious face with both of his eyes closed. He was in thought. His name was Owen, and he was the one who had been attending to the mysterious Mr. Chen. He was currently questioning himself as to why he was even attending to this strange mage who was acting like a wanted criminal. Although it was allowed for mages to dress however they liked as long as it didn't disturb the general public, Mr. Chen's dressing sense and attitude were enough to suspect him. At this moment, the door behind him made a hissing sound before slowly opening. Is he finally done? Owen thought to himself as he opened his eyes and stood up before walking into the room, but his body stiffened in place the instant he entered the room. He stood petrified with wide eyes as he gazed at the small mountain of beast corpses that had taken a large space in the middle of the room. Owen was unable to believe what he was seeing and he wasn't able to react for a while. How is this even possible? The storage bracelet I gave him definitely can't fit in all of this, he exclaimed inwardly. Alex noticed his shock but didn't say anything. He remained calm for fear of being suspected, even though it was impossible to avoid suspicion. At least with the all-knowing mask, he would be able to lie freely without getting discovered. After some time passed, Owen finally came back to his senses and looked at the masked Mr. Chen beside him. Why, you brought all these back? He asked with suspicion in his voice. Alex nodded in response without saying a word. What? Did the other party expect him to shake his head? Owen fell silent for a while before asking how Alex was able to bring back so many beast corpses. I have my methods, Alex said in a hoarse voice, causing Owen to fall silent again. His mind flashed to the old-looking backpack that Mr. Chen had come with earlier, and a look of realization flashed past his eyes. Could it be that the odd-looking backpack was actually a storage device as well? That must be it. A storage device of such size must contain unimaginable space, but why did he still accept the storage bracelet even though he had one on him already? Owen shook his head suddenly and pushed the thought out of his head. There was no use thinking about it. Mr. Chen, it will take us a while to inspect the condition of the beast corpses to determine their value. In the meantime, would you prefer to wait here or wait in another room? Owen asked. I'll wait here, Alex responded. That's fine too, Owen nodded before stepping toward the small mountain of beast corpses and started to inspect them. He was very fast with his work and was done with the inspection in just a few minutes. He had an odd expression on his face as he walked back toward the masked Mr. Chen. His eyebrows creased into a frown and his eyes had suspicion in them. After inspecting the corpses of the beast, he was stunned by the wounds from which the beasts had died from. He was able to recognize the wounds caused by the lightning element as that was also the element he had registered in Mr. Chen's Explorer ID. As for the other beasts, they looked like they had been blasted through with brute force. There were only a few elements that could cause such wounds without leaving traces, but Mr. Chen had the lightning element. Could he be a close combat mage who also fought with his body? Chapter 17, Making First Million. Close combat mages were known for not just using spells in fights but would usually use their limbs as well. But that was not the most pressing matter. What bothered Owen more was the rank of these beasts when they were still alive. Every single one of them was only at the common rank. Which top mage in their right senses would spend the entire day killing such weak magic beasts? Could he really be a fake or did he intentionally kill only common rank magic beasts? Owen wondered as he stared at the plain mask of Mr. Chen. This mask made it even more bothering as he couldn't see the other party's face, nor could he sense his rank. His mind was filled with questions, but he decided to bottle everything up. Considering Mr. Chen's silent attitude, he most likely won't get any response even if he asks. I've finished with the inspection and all of them are still in relatively good condition, but I noticed that some of them already had their mana cores removed. Does Mr. Chen not wish to sell those cores? Owen asked. I'll sell them, I'll return them with the storage bracelet, Alex stated plainly. Although the grade 1 beast cores were usually to weak mages since it could increase their mana, it was usually to Alex. The mana would just scatter in his body if he tried to absorb it, why not sell them instead to make more money? Oh, I understand. I've already taken account of their numbers, we can leave to settle your payment while our staff start working on these corpses. Owen said and led Alex out of the room. They took the elevator and headed to another floor before going to Owen's office. Alex was given a seat while Owen sat on his executive chair behind the desk. The corpses of magic beasts that are at the common rank are usually sold around 15,000 yen to 20,000 yen while grade 1 mana cores have a standard price of 30,000 yen. You've brought a total of 27 common rank magic beasts, and I assume the numbers of cores are corresponding. Owen stated, stretching his last word. Alex caught the hint and he moved his hand under his robe, placing the storage bracelet on the table. Owen smiled and reached for the bracelet, he scanned through it with his mana and confirmed that the remaining mana cores were indeed inside the storage ring. After a 10% service deduction, the corpses of the magic beasts will earn you 540,000 yen, while the mana cores brought a profit of 810,000 yen. Altogether, we'll be paying you 1,350,000 yen. I hope Mr. Chen is satisfied with our offer. Owen said with a sincere smile on his face. He was thinking if Mr. Chen was unimpressed by the price he had offered and would try to negotiate, but the truth was that he wasn't trying to cheat Mr. Chen and had really offered a very good price for the beasts and mana cores. As for Alex, he was secretly shocked by the amount he had just heard. Thankfully, he was wearing a mask so the other party was unable to see his expression, he would have given himself out if not for his mask. 1.3 M yen just like that, how crazy was that? Alex had long come to understand the value of the currency of this world some time ago. It was not easy for others to make as much money as mages do, but still, making such an amount on his face was enough to shock Alex. It would probably take his father more than a year to make the same amount as an ordinary human. The brief state of shock caused Alex to go mute for a while, but due to his mask, Owen thought that he was just staring at him in silence because he wasn't satisfied with the amount he was being paid. He sighed and said persuasively, I'm indeed giving you the best price, Mr. Chen, and that's even after reducing the normal service cost by 10%. Usually, the union would take 20% from the earnings of explorers that didn't belong to us. Owen's words finally woke up Alex from his dazed state. He blinked a few times before saying hoarsely, I'll take it. Owen's face lit up with a small smile after hearing Mr. Chen's response. He took out some files from under his desk and placed them in front of Alex. Which account would you like your money to be transferred to? He asked. Alex fell silent again as he stared at the file in front of him. What was he supposed to do at this point? He didn't have an account. Seeing Mr. Chen go silent again, Owen raised an eyebrow as a thought appeared in his mind. Is he unwilling to share even his bank information because that might reveal his real identity? How secretive, I'm starting to really suspect that he's a wanted person. Owen thought to himself as he pulled back the files and kept them back. I understand that you don't want to share your bank details as well. It's not an issue, we have several union cards if you want. Owen said while staring at Alex's white mask. I hope you guys aren't getting confused because of the use of Alex and Mr. Chen. I'm using both so you can get used to it quickly. Always remember that Alex is Mr. Chen, Mr. Chen is just his alias and what he's known as by the members of the Union. Alex's eyes secretly lit up behind his mask upon hearing Owen's words. He let out a secret sigh of relief. He was already cracking his brain on how to explain that he didn't actually own an account, as the previous Alex hadn't bothered to open one since all his money was made through cash payment. The suggestion of the Union cards had saved him a lot of explaining just now. Union cards were black cards issued by the Union to people without means of reaching payment for various reasons. The Union cards were rarely used, though, and their limits were usually very high, as they could contain up to 100 million yen and were accepted by all banks around the world. "I'll take the Union card," Alex said after calming down. The other party nodded his head and asked Alex to excuse him as he stood up. He was going to arrange the Union card for Alex's payment. "Hold on," Alex suddenly called out before the other party could leave the room. Owen stopped and looked back at the masked Mr. Chen with a curious face. The latter didn't say anything but flicked something with his thumb instead, and it flew toward Owen. The speed of the flying object wasn't fast, so, with his strength, Owen was able to see it before he even caught it. It was a little transparent rock. Owen caught the rock and looked at it with great curiosity. He could feel the mana inside this little rock and was awed by it. Strangely, he couldn't recognize what this rock was. Seeing the curiosity in the man's eyes, Alex guessed that he didn't know about the void rock, so he decided to tell him. "It's a void rock." Chapter 18, Source of the Void Rock. "Mysterious Mr. Chen, it's a void rock," Alex called out. Owen glanced at him, his eyes showing appreciation for Alex telling him what this rock was before returning his gaze to the rock in his hand. He felt that the void rock sounded familiar, but he could not seem to recall where he had heard it from. "Please give me a moment, I'll be back shortly," Owen said before exiting the office and leaving Alex alone. He was worried that Mr. Chen would try to do something improper. There was nothing in the room that would be valuable to a mage after all. After Owen left, Alex had nothing else to do and so began to recall the experience he had outside the borders. The thrill of using magic and fighting magic beasts rushed through his body and a big smile formed on his face. Not only that, he had also made his first million while having fun and increasing his strength. He also thought about the academy, the memories of the previous Alex, and the humiliation he had faced. A small grin formed on Alex's lips. "Just wait a little, I promise to give you all the biggest shock of your lives," Alex mumbled under his breath as he thought of the competition happening the coming week. He also wondered how much the void rock would be sold for and guessed that it shouldn't be too cheap since it came out of a crack and contained some mana inside of it. While Alex was reminiscing about the experience he had during the day, Owen left the office and headed for another floor of the Union building. He walked quickly after arriving in front of another huge door in a few minutes and pushed it open without warning. Inside, this room was spacious, and various equipment and items were being showcased on glass tables. Racks of magical items and other things could be seen in the room. It was like a gallery of magic items. Not far from the door was a receptionist desk made of smooth tiles, and behind it was a man who looked to be in his 50s with signs of aging visible on his face. The man wore a long yellow coat with a white shirt and black pants underneath. A pair of glasses framed his eyes as he looked into the thick book in front of him. The sudden opening of the door alerted the man, and he slowly raised his head to see who had barged into his workplace without knocking. A ray of light flashed past his glasses when his eyes landed on Owen, and he immediately let out a sigh. "Elder Owen, mind giving prior notice before coming in like that next time? You always gave this old man a heart attack," the man said with a small smile as he stared at Owen. Owen waved his right hand. He was not in the mood for the old man's jokes. "It's not time for jokes, Sub-Elder Lance. I need your help with something," Owen said seriously as he approached the old man, who turned out to be a sub-elder of the Union branch and was called Lance. This old-looking man was a powerful mage who wasn't weaker than him. How could he get a heart attack just from a little surprise entry? Hearing Owen's words, the smile on Lance's face slowly disappeared, and a serious look formed on his aged face as he pushed the bridge of his glasses with his fingers. "What do you need help with?" he asked. Owen had reached the front of Lance's desk at this moment and placed the small void rock in front of him. "You're the head of appraisers in our union, I need your help with checking this," he added. Lance glanced down at the void rock, he picked it up and stared at it for a few seconds as if trying to recall something. After just 3 seconds of looking at it, Lance's eyes widened behind his glasses, and his mouth hung open. It was as if he was trying to say something but the words were hanging down in his throat. Seeing the other party's reaction, Owen was sure that Lance had recognized the void rock. His eyes gleamed with curiosity, he wanted to know. "He said it was a void rock," he voiced out after Lance remained shocked for over 10 seconds and didn't say anything. Owen's words pulled Lance back to his senses and he stopped looking at the void rock in his hand. "I know it's a void rock," he stated. "Then what's a void rock?" Owen asked on. He knew that he had heard of the void rock some time ago but couldn't remember everything, he just felt that it sounded familiar. Lance stayed silent for a while before opening his mouth. "Cracks, void rocks are found only where cracks have formed," he said slowly, trying to make Owen understand the seriousness of this matter. And as expected, immediately after Owen heard the word crack, his expression changed. He had a mixture of shock and despair written all over his face as memories flashed through his mind, gruesome memories. Before he could come back to his senses, Lance asked another question. "You said something about I'm assuming it's the person who gave you this void rock." Owen nodded without saying anything, his face was now serious. "Who is he?" Lance asked again, and Owen explained how he had met a masked mage called Mr. Chen who came to register as an explorer and had gone out for exploring earlier today. Mr. Chen had given this to him after coming back from exploring. Lance revealed a strange expression after listening to Owen's story. "You're an elder in this branch, why would you bother yourself with the registration of some random mage? Aren't there enough staff to handle that?" "No, that's not important right now. You said he went to explore today and gave you the void rock after coming back. So he came back in less than a day of exploring, then it's safe to say that he didn't go too far outside the borders. Do you know what that means?" Lance asked with a grave tone. Owen remained silent, he didn't say a word but knew the answer to Lance's question. If Mr. Chen really found this void rock today, then a crack must have appeared not far from the city borders. Even a distance of 100 kilometers was considered too close. "Tell me more about this Mr. Chen." Lance placed the void rock on the desk and looked at Owen in front of him. Owen rubbed his face with his palm after being asked to talk about Mr. Chen. What did he know about Mr. Chen? The latter rarely spoke and Owen wasn't able to see through him. He still told Lance what he knew about the other party anyway. "He covers his face and body all the time, you can't see through his rank, and he barely says anything. So there's literally nothing on his besides his element and name." Lance said in disbelief and Owen nodded in response. Both of them fell silent for a while before Lance spoke up again. "This won't do, we have to inform the leader about this. A person who can have a void rock in his possession can't be a nobody, he must have shown this to you on purpose." I suspected the same since I can't see through his rank and with the rank of the beast corpses he had returned with. I think he's trying to stay low profile," Owen added. The two chatted for a bit more. Owen asked how much a void rock could be sold for and was stunned when Lance replied that the small piece of rock could be sold for 5 million yen. After a few more minutes, Owen left. They had agreed that one of them would go attend to Mr. Chen and try to form a connection with him, preferably inviting him to join their union branch, while the other person would contact the leader of their branch and inform him of this matter. Obviously, the duty of inviting Mr. Chen to join them fell on Owen's shoulder since he was the one Mr. Chen was familiar with while Lance tried to contact the branch leader. "Sorry for keeping you waiting, Mr. Chen." Chapter 19, Invitation from the Union. Alex turned to look at Owen, who had just entered the office. He turned away after taking a glance. Owen's arrival had pulled his attention back to reality. He was reading through his system to kill time while waiting for the other party. Owen smiled nervously when Mr. Chen simply glanced at him before turning his back to him. He was trying to keep himself calm after learning that Mr. Chen might very well be a powerful mage who was hiding his appearance and didn't want to be recognized. He pushed the door close before walking to his seat on the other side of the desk opposite Mr. Chen. He glanced at the pair of eyes that gazed at him through the two holes in the white mask before looking away. He reached into his pocket and brought out a small black bank card before placing it in front of Alex. "This is the union card. The void rock you gave me was valued at 5 million yen. Adding to the previous amount, there's a total of 6.310 million yen in the card," Owen said with a sincere smile on his face. "Alex, asterisk 5 million. Alex gasped in shock upon hearing the amount that the small piece of rock had gotten him. It was several times more than what he had made after selling beast corpses and beast cores. How could he not be shocked? He had been excited over making his first million earlier and suddenly got 5 more from selling a single void rock. However, Alex's eyes widened the next second and he almost cursed out. He quickly composed himself and stared at the frightened man in front of him. It's a good thing that he still had his mask on and his expression could not be seen. He almost gave himself out. On the other hand, Owen had been startled by Mr. Chen's sudden gasp. Since he couldn't see the latter's face, he didn't know that Mr. Chen had gasped because he was shocked. Owen thought that Mr. Chen had gasped out of disbelief at the price the void rock had been sold for. Maybe he wanted to sell it for a higher price and didn't like the 5 million yen prices that the union had provided. This frightened Owen, thinking that he had left a bad impression on Mr. Chen. After all, he was in charge of inviting him to their union branch. After forcing himself to calm down, Owen hastily explained that 5 million was a really good deal and they had even added some amount of money and had not deducted any service costs since it was his first time selling such an item to them. Owen nervously looked at Mr. Chen's plain white mask, hoping that his explanation would calm the other party. The fact that he could not read the latter's expression was really killing him. It was unbearable to be dealing with a poker face. Listening to Owen's explanation, Alex secretly heaved a sigh of relief. He had not been exposed. He made a sound akin to clearing his throat before speaking. "Fine, I'll take it." He took the black card from the desk and kept it under his robe. He actually just held it under his robe since he didn't have a storage device to keep it in. Owen was delighted to hear Mr. Chen's response. He watched Mr. Chen keep the union card under his robe and assumed that the old backpack from earlier was also under. After keeping his money, Alex stood up to leave. His business here was done for the day and it was time to return. But just as stood up and was about to leave, the man sitting opposite him called out to him to wait for a moment. "Excuse me, Mr. Chen, could I bother you for a few minutes of your time?" Owen stood up and asked politely before Alex could walk away. Alex paused and turned to look at the other party with a raised eyebrow, but Owen wasn't able to see this action because of the all-knowing mask, although he still took Mr. Chen's pause as a positive response. He didn't waste time and immediately went straight to the point. "I'm sorry I didn't formally introduce myself yet. My name is Owen Starwood. You can just call me Owen and I'm one of the 2 elders of this branch." He paused for a bit to see if Mr. Chen would say anything but continued after the latter just kept staring at him. "I want to know if Mr. Chen already belongs to any explore group. If not, I would love to invite you on behalf of our union branch to join us. With your strength, you'll surely get a respectable position and the benefits of joining our union branch will definitely not disappoint you. In addition, the benefits will also be available in other union branches across the world," Owen said slowly, trying to make Mr. Chen understand the importance of his offer. After he had said his piece, both sides fell into a short moment of silence as Owen waited for Mr. Chen's response. Meanwhile, Alex was in thought. Owen's offer was not bad, it was very good, to be honest. since he was aware of the benefits of joining the Union, but with his current situation, he didn't think joining the Union would be a wise choice. He had yet to leave the academy and it would be difficult to explain to his parents if he was to suddenly disappear for days while on missions for the Union. Plus, he doubted that he would be able to remain anonymous if he were to join the Union. They would definitely ask for personal information, which he wasn't ready to give. After a short while of keeping Owen in suspense, Alex spoke up after making his voice sound hoarse. "I'm not in any explorer group, but I have to turn down your offer." Owen revealed a strange expression before asking if there was a reason. "Yes, I work alone," Alex replied bluntly. Owen showed a stunned expression as he didn't expect such a response. His expression returned to normal after a few seconds, and he let out a small laugh. He felt that it made sense, considering how mysterious the other party always looked. Who would want to work with such a person? As expected from someone like Mr. Chen, "I understand. Then I hope we'll be seeing you more often in the future. We'll gladly buy whatever you bring back at a reasonable price," Owen stated while stretching out his right hand toward Alex for a handshake. Alex, on the other hand, simply glanced at the hand stretched toward him. He made a sound and nodded. He then turned around and walked off. Owen was left with his hand hanging in the air, an awkward look on his face as he stared at the bad of Mr. Chen's black robe. "Well, I figured he wouldn't like physical contact either." Owen sighed before dropping on his seat, his mind drifting into thoughts. Alex exited the elevator after reaching the bottom floor and headed straight for the door. eoinvel.com. "Not like I wanted to leave your hand hanging on purpose, but I don't know if you have methods of checking someone through touching. I have to be careful." Alex mentally apologized to Owen as he left the building. He felt bad about leaving the man like that since the other party had been very polite the entire time, but he needed to protect himself. Better safe than sorry. Boom. Chapter 20, Might of a Master Rank Mage. A huge fire fist that was as large as a person soared through the air at a fast speed and crashed into the side of a huge monster that was several tens of meters away. The fireball landed on the body of the beast and created a huge explosion that pushed the beast to the side forcefully. Roar. The beast let out a loud, angry roar as it staggered and prevented itself from falling. A large part of the beast's body had been charred black, but the explosion did not manage to blast a hole through its tough skin. TCH, how resilient. Someone clicked their tongue in dissatisfaction. "Hold it in place, I'll finish it off." A loud shout resounded from behind as a strong gust of wind blew in all directions. A man in a leather jacket and black pants stood behind a group of 3 people. His eyes were covered by black sunglasses, and he had a fierce expression. "I." The 3 people in front shouted in response as they released powerful auras and charged at the magic beast. The 3 of them were a group of 2 men and 1 woman. The 3 of them quickly summoned dazzling stars of different elements as they got closer to the beast and formed 2 star patterns each in the blink of an eye. Their speed of connecting the stars was very fast and wasn't any slower than Alex's speed of connecting them. After forming their star patterns, all 3 of them launched their spells at the beast in unison. Fire Claw. Siren Shots. Light Ray. The 3 of them shouted the names of their spells. 2 blazing red star patterns released a burst of mana before forming into a large claw that was entirely made of flames and flew toward the beast in the distance. 2 bright blue star patterns glowed even brighter and released countless water bullets that rained down on the beast. Lastly, the 2 gold star patterns of the light element glowed before releasing a fast flash of golden light that shot toward the beast. The 3 spells reached the beast in less than a second and collided with it. The fire claw slammed into its large body and left long scorched marks. The water bullets rained down like meteorites and forced the beast to let out painful roars as they hit its body, while the flash of light exploded in its face, burning its face and causing it to go blind for a second. Despite all these, the beast did not sustain any heavy injuries after it was bombarded by 3 core spells. This was because this beast was no ordinary magic beast. These people were fighting against a very powerful magic beast that was at the mutated rank. The three didn't panic after their attacks failed to cause any true damage because they had expected it. They had been fighting against this beast for a while and already knew that it would not go down so easily. Luckily, their aim was not to kill it but to hold it in place for the man in the leather jacket who was behind them. He was the one who was going to deliver the final blow. Shining purple stars began to appear behind him one after the other, and the purple stars soon filled the sky. There were tens of them. The stars began to connect at a crazy speed, forming into star patterns before forming into constellations. In less than 5 seconds, 2 huge star constellations that were made of 5 star patterns each had formed behind him. 2 star constellations, this was proof that someone was at the Master Mage rank. After forming the 2 star constellations, a powerful and oppressive pressure enveloped the entire area as the destructive aura of the lightning element spread in all directions. Without needing to be told, the 3 people who had attacked the beast earlier immediately got out of the way and moved behind the man in a leather jacket while the latter stared at the magic beast with a grin on his face. "Lightning bolt," he whispered softly. Boom. The pressure that was coming from the 2 star constellations suddenly increased and caused the ground to crack. The 2 constellations grew in size quickly as they rose higher into the sky and moved over the magic beast. Sensing the powerful energy that was coming from the star constellations, a dreadful glint flashed through the eyes of the magic beast and it wanted to run away. It knew that it could not take this attack with its body. Freeobnovel.com. But before the beast could even move one of its huge legs, a loud cracking sound was heard and a huge purple lightning bolt that was as thick as a snake shot out from the star constellations that had stacked on top of each other. With the magic beast being the only thing under them, it became the prime target of the spell. Like the wrath of a god descending from the sky, the lightning bolt was incredibly fast as it struck the beast before it could even react. Boom. The sound was akin to a loud explosion. The ground trembled violently as if an earthquake was about to happen, and cracks spread for over 50 meters across the ground in all directions with the beast at the center. The 2 star constellations slowly faded after letting out the destructive bolt, and everything returned to normal. The 4 people, 3 men and 1 woman stared at the beast that was currently lying on the ground from afar before approaching it with calm but fast steps. "It's dead for sure," one of the men commented. "That's a fact, no mutated ranked magic beast could survive a spell from a master rank mage, especially not when the mage has the lightning element," another one said from the side as they arrived at where the beast had died. The ground around it had been shattered completely and a huge hole had pierced through the body of the beast, through which the other side could be seen. "Damn, the lightning element is too ruthless, not a single drop of blood left," someone exclaimed after looking at the wound. "Well, at least we finally killed it, this area can be claimed now. Dig out its core and move the corpse back to camp. We'll look around some more to make sure that no other beast is hiding nearby," the man in a leather jacket ordered as he fixed his sunglasses. From his tone, it was easy to tell that he was the leader of this group. "Aye." The 3 replied in unison and immediately got to work. Just as they had started to look for the mana core of the beast, the only woman in the group stood up as something that looked like a phone appeared in her hand. After taking a glance, she turned to look at the man in a leather jacket before calling out. "Branch leader, it's for you," she said as she touched the phone at him. The latter easily caught it before bringing it close to his ears. "What is it?" he said. After staying silent for just a few seconds, the expression on the branch leader's face changed drastically as he slowly lowered the phone. He turned to look at the 3 mages who were working on the corpse of the dead beast and shouted, "Everyone pack up, we're returning to Balon City immediately." Chapter 21, Returning home. Alex, unaware of the commotion that he had caused at the Union, returned home after keeping his outfit back in the system. The sky was already dark by the time Alex arrived at their house, only a few working street lamps and lights from the windows of nearby houses and the moon provided visibility for this part of Balon City. As he had inherited the memories of the previous Alex, he was now familiar with the various routes of this part of the city and knew where not to pass to avoid encountering those scumbags that hid in quiet alleys and waited for unlucky people. Not that he was afraid of them, he just didn't feel like dealing with anyone today since he was in a good mood. Although he didn't manage to increase his strength after killing magic beasts for the whole day, he had gotten a very useful spell that would save him a lot of trouble in the future and had made a huge sum of money from selling his gains as well. Thinking about this, Alex had a wide smile on his face as he pushed the door of his house open and stepped in. "I'm home," he announced as he entered. "Big brother, you're back." Emily's eyes lit up when she saw Alex and ran toward him. "Where did you go? I thought you weren't going to come back." Emily arrived in front of Alex and said with a pout on her cute face, "I was out for some work, did you miss me?" Alex said with a small laugh while rubbing her head. "Don't mess up my hair, you made everyone wait for you for dinner." Emily protested but didn't move Alex's hand away. Their mother stepped out of the kitchen after hearing their voice. "You're back, go wash up and come down for dinner, I'll set the table soon." She smiled at him before going back into the kitchen. "All right, Mom," Alex replied and immediately headed for his room while Emily stayed in the living room. "Emily, come help me set up the table for dinner." "Okay." Alex could hear his mother's and sister's voices as he entered his room and closed the door. He dropped the old backpack he had gone out with on the side before dropping it on his bed and gazing at the ceiling of his room. No one knew what he was thinking as he just stayed like that. After some time, Alex raised both hands in the air and looked at his palms, they were neat and smooth. He balled them into fists after staring for a while, a smile on his lips while his eyes shone with determination. Some minutes later, Alex had already washed up and changed into new clothes. He was currently seated with his family at the dining table as they ate their food while making small talk. It was usually Emily asking lots of questions while their mom constantly reminded her not to speak with food in her mouth. Their father just listened without contributing. "I heard from some people that the Academy is hosting a small competition to pick students who will represent them in the All Academy Star competition. I want to watch and cheer for Big Brother." Emily suddenly voiced out. "Emily, swallow your food before talking," their mom said helplessly. "I don't think the Academy will allow spectators from this competition since it's for deciding candidates. You can just wait for the main competition and cheer for me there. I'll win first place for you." Alex turned to Emily and smiled. The girl's eyes grew larger with excitement. "Really?" "Yes, really," Alex replied confidently. The two parents watched in silence as their kids conversed happily. Their mother had a small smile on her face while their father just gazed at them with a conflicted look. They were done eating after some time and Alex's mother asked Emily to help her with the dishes in the kitchen. Alex was about to return to his room and read some books but stopped when he heard his father's voice. "Alex, come sit with me in the living room for a minute." Alex turned back and saw his father walking toward the living room. He followed without saying a word. Both of them sat opposite each other with the table between them. There was silence for the following seconds before Alex's father broke it with the sound of him clearing his throat. He gazed at Alex for a few seconds before opening his mouth. "I heard from your mother that you finally reached the adept rank." He spoke softly. "Yes, that's true," Alex replied. He noticed his father's lips trembling after he said that, and his eyes flashed with multiple emotions at the same time. He was obviously forcing himself to stay calm. That's good to hear. I'm proud of you, son," his father said slowly after a while. Alex felt something inside him after hearing his father's words. From the memories of the old Alex, his father rarely spoke but was still very kind to him. He had seen how his father looked at him with sorry eyes in the past as if it was his fault that Alex wasn't able to make any progress. The old Alex must have wanted to hear those words for a long time. "Why are you crying?" Alex was pulled back to his senses by his father's sudden question. He was stunned and touched his face, only to feel the wetness on his face. "Why am I crying?" Alex was equally confused as to why he was crying. He didn't feel sad or any negative feelings, he could even be said to be happy because of the ticklish sensation that he was feeling in his stomach. "It's nothing, thanks, Dad," Alex said while wiping his face with his palm. The latter gazed at Alex for some time, an almost unnoticeable smile hooked his lips for a split second before disappearing the next moment. He stood up, walked over to Alex, and patted him on the shoulder. "Work hard, son. If you need anything at the academy, feel free to tell me and I'll definitely get it for you," his father said seriously before walking away. Alex stared at his retreating back and couldn't explain what he was feeling, he could only sigh and stand up to go to his room as well. Just before he left the living room, his mother appeared. "Don't mind your father's behavior, he always had a hard time expressing himself. Don't tell him that I told you this, he cried so hard after I told him that you broke through," his mother said with a soft giggle. She had whispered the last part. "Now, off to your room, young mages need rest." She touched Alex's face gently and smiled at him before walking off, not giving him a chance to respond. Alex could hear her giggles even after she had returned to the kitchen. "I guess some things never changed," Alex mumbled to himself. His mother's actions reminded him of his mother in his previous life. "Young mages need rest, huh? But I'm a core mage and can go a few days without sleep," Alex thought to himself as he silently made the decision to read the whole night. Got to use every chance to gain EXP points. Chapter 22, Reading All Night, Level Up. Early the next morning, 6 a.m. Mission complete, 5 EXP. Mission complete, 5 EXP. Mission complete, 5 EXP. Mission complete, 5 EXP. Daily missions: read books about mana circulation 17/10, read books about magic beasts 16/10. Weekly mission complete. Read books 33/10 reward, 30 EXP. A series of notifications appeared in front of Alex as he closed the last book. 8 hours, he had read through the entire night and had read a total of 33 books. Thanks to his strength increasing to the core mage rank, Alex didn't feel sleepy or tired in the slightest despite being up the whole night. He even felt like he could go a few more nights without sleep. After keeping the book, Alex called out his system profile in his thoughts and it immediately appeared in front of him. Almighty Path System, Error, Host, Alex Zorin level, 8 EXP for next level, 215/100, Error, Rank, Low Stage, Core Mage Rank Elements, Space. Lightning Special Abilities, Dual Element Body, the host can use 2 elements. Void Walk, the host can move through the void between 2 fixed locations, cannot change directions midway, distance depends on the strength of the host. Aura Master, the host can mask his rank and show a fake rank must be lower than true rank. Craftsman, the host can use EXP points to create spells related to his elements. The amount of EXP used in crafting will be determined by the system based on the strength of the spell crafted. Special items, All-Knowing Mask, the host has master level appraisal knowledge, and can conceal himself from the prying of others. Pendant of Deterrence, the host can release the aura of a powerful mage from the pendant, the aura from the pendant will be 2 ranks higher than the target of the host. Indestructible Robe, a robe that can block a strike of anyone below the sage stage. Alex's eyes landed on the amount of EXP he had, he could not help but sigh. He had made a total of 195 EXP points after reading for 8 hours straight, adding to the 10 EXP points that he had left previously that had given him his current amount of EXP. It would have definitely been more than this if I had spent those 8 hours killing magic beasts instead. Reading is really too slow, Alex said and silently chose to level up his system. Immediately, 200 EXP points were used up and his system leveled up twice. Ding! System level up: level 8, level 10. Low stage, mid stage, high stage, core rank. The notifications appeared in front of him as his system and rank increased. Alex could feel the changes within his body after getting stronger by 2 substages. Although the effect was not as powerful as when he had leveled up several times in a row, Alex could still feel the mana within him getting stronger and his soul C increasing in size. System, he whispered. Almighty Path System, error, host, Alex Zarin level, 10 EXP for next level, 15/100, error, rank, high stage, core mage rank elements, space. Lightning special abilities, dual element body, the host can use 2 elements. Void walk. Alex read through his profile quickly, all the changes were what he had expected. He also didn't get any rewards this time, though he was looking forward to it. Now left with 15 points, Alex muttered to himself. He wasn't discouraged by the decrease in his EXP but was rather pumped up and full of high spirits instead. He was going to explore again today and could farm more EXP points. Hopefully, I won't be in any need of a new spell and can use everything to level up, Alex said to himself as he got up from his bed. An hour and some minutes later, Alex could be seen in front of their door in a simple jacket and shorts. He didn't carry the old backpack from yesterday this time, and his Explorer ID card was in his pocket. He was ready to set off. But before Alex could announce that he was going out, the confused voice of Emily sounded from behind him. "Big brother, where are you going so early?" Alex paused and turned around to see Emily standing at the bottom of the stairs in a simple yellow dress. They had just finished breakfast not long ago and her wet hands showed that she had helped with the dishes not long ago. "Oh, I'm going out again. Might stay long like yesterday." Alex replied honestly, but he immediately shut his mouth after seeing how fast Emily's expression changed from curiosity to anger. He felt that his sister might attack him at any moment, and this made Alex very confused. "Is there a problem?" he asked while scratching his head. "Is there a problem?" Emily mimicked Alex before stomping her feet on the ground with force. "Of course, there is a problem. You promised to take me to the theme park today, but now you're going out and might come back late." Emily snapped with red eyes. She looked like she was about to burst into tears. "Alex. I did." Alex's mind was riddled with question marks as he tried to recall when such a thing had happened. He soon found it. It turned out that there was a theme park that would be reopening today, and the previous Alex had promised to take Emily there after picking her up from school one day and seeing her miserable state. "Damn it, that means no EXP farming for me today." Alex lamented inwardly but didn't show any displeased expression on his face. He laughed awkwardly instead while scratching the back of his head. "Ha ha ha, of course I remembered. I was just teasing you and wasn't really going anywhere. We'll leave once you are ready," Alex quickly explained. Emily's expression finally calmed down after hearing Alex's words and she wiped her eyes with the back of her hands. Sorry for yelling, I thought that you didn't want to go with me anymore," Emily sobbed. Alex felt bad at the sight of his sister sobbing and moved toward her to console her. He didn't dare to tell her that he had indeed forgotten and was about to go do something else. Well, telling her wasn't important anyway, so he could just forget it. Don't cry, don't cry. I was at fault for teasing you. Go change into a better dress, and we'll go out," Alex whispered in a low voice. Emily nodded her head before rushing to her room to get changed. Alex shook his head with a helpless smile on his face. He felt bad that he couldn't farm EXP today, but the thought of making his sister happy made up for it. Family was more important. Indeed. Alex closed his eyes and nodded with both hands on his waist. He felt that this pose was very cool because many characters in comics used to do it. "What are you doing standing there like an old man? Are you watching too many dramas?" A teasing voice sounded from not far away, causing Alex to open his eyes and look over. He saw his mom standing at the entrance of the kitchen with her right hand covering her mouth as she laughed. "Ha ha, it's nothing." Alex laughed as well while touching his nose. His mother waved at him to come over. Alex was confused as to why but still walked toward her. "Here, get some sweets for yourself and your sister while having fun outside," she whispered as she squeezed something into Alex's hand. Alex looked at it and discovered that it was money, a single 500 note. Chapter 23, At the theme park. Alex was shocked when he saw the money and was about to return it. Although he had easily made over 6 million yen the previous day, the same could not be said for his parents. 500 yen was a little too much to spend on snacks, only children from rich backgrounds could afford such lifestyles. A family like theirs could spend 500 yen for a few days. Seeing Alex about to return the money, his mother immediately stopped him. "Don't you dare refuse, your father agreed to this. It's also his way of congratulating you for reaching the adept mage rank. So go out and have fun, you can repay us by doing well in the academy," she said with a smile and immediately escaped into the kitchen. Alex stood petrified on the spot with his eyes fixed on the money in his hand. To him, it was not something worth mentioning, but he knew how hard it must have cost his parents. Not to mention that they were still in debt and might lose their home. Alex clenched his hand, squeezing the money in the process. He had come to a decision. He had to think of a way to give his parents the money that he had made yesterday, and he had to do that soon. Alex returned to the living room to wait for his sister. Emily came down after some time. She had changed into a pretty long blue gown that reached just above her ankles, and a pair of black shoes covered her feet. On her head was also a light blue hat. Her appearance screamed cute as she blinked at Alex. The perfect little sister. "I'm ready," Emily said with a look of excitement on her face. She wasn't as calm as her usual self. Alex guessed that she must have been looking forward to the theme park since he made that promise. He wondered what would have happened if he had left before she realized it and had missed the chance to take her. Alex couldn't help but shiver. He didn't want to think about it. "All right, let's go." Alex stretched out one of his hands for Emily, and the latter held it. Both of them walked out of the house together. At the Union, in a spacious office that was even larger than the room where Alex had taken out all of his beast corpses. In this office, a long executive desk was fixed into the ground in the center of the room, with multiple seats placed on both sides. A few people sat around one end of the desk with a figure sitting on the main seat. If Alex was here, he would have recognized one of them. Sitting on one of the main seats that was right next to the main seat was Owen, who had attended to Alex the previous day. Sitting opposite him was a beautiful woman who seemed to be in her late 20s and had sexy eyes and long hair. Her name was Sylvia, and she was the second elder of the Balon City Union branch. All of the people present were important figures of the Union branch. Sub-Elder Lance was also present as well, and he was wearing a long brown coat. As for the others, they were the two men who had assisted the man in a leather jacket with killing the mutated rank magic beast the previous day. They were the remaining two of the three sub-elders of the Union branch. The person seated on the main seat, wearing a brown leather jacket and black sunglasses, was the branch leader of this Union branch, branch leader Clint. All of them currently had serious expressions. They had listened to Owen's story about how he had met a mysterious Mr. Chen and everything that had happened between them. The others, except Lance and Owen, had reacted strongly after listening to the story. They understood the meaning behind the appearance of the void rock. "Let me see it," branch leader Clint spoke up. Lance reached into his cloak and brought out the small void rock before tossing it over to the other party. Branch leader Clint caught the void rock with two of his fingers before inspecting it deeply. He could sense the packed but scattered mana within the transparent piece of rock. It was indeed a void rock. "This Mr. Chen, have you tried to run a background check on him? Is there any powerful Mr. Chen in the Union's database?" Branch leader Clint raised his eyes to look at Owen. The Union was like a government body that looked after the affairs of mages and non-mages, so it was normal for them to have information on almost everyone in the entire country. "I did, but there's no one at all with such a name, not even non-mages. The name doesn't even belong to this continent," Owen answered. Does that mean he's someone from a different continent? Could he be a criminal who's running away? Sylvia, the second elder, added. We can't be sure, a criminal won't try to do things the way he did. Especially when he's already powerful enough that Elder Owen can't see through him, he could have found a remote town instead and easily enslaved everyone. A man with a thick beard spoke up. He was one of the 3 sub-elders and his name was Marco. No matter what the truth might be. We must not do anything that would make him realize that we are suspicious of him, we have to at least know his rank. Lance stated and everyone nodded in agreement. We'll have to wait for him to come again and try to interact with him. Until we know his real purpose, he's someone who can get a void rock so his strength can be helpful, we can use him as long as we provide a good reward. For now, no one is allowed to leave the city. Marco and Sylvia, take teams of Union explorers and scout the area outside the border for any abnormality. Ignore beasts below the transformed rank, report back immediately if you find anything strange. Branch leader Clint voiced out. Understood, Marco and Sylvia answered in unison. Everyone else can go back to your normal duties. Big brother, let's go on that ride next. Big brother, let's take a picture together. Big brother, this haunted house is too scary. Emily dragged Alex through the crowd of people as they went from one fun place to another. The theme park had been closed for a while after some mages made a report that a magic beast might be living there. The place had been closed down for more than a year as they carried out the investigation. The beast had finally been discovered and it turned out to be a 3-colored rabbit, causing many people to sigh in relief. The beast had been captured and taken away by the explorers while the Union made sure that no other beast was in the area. The reopening of the theme park was a huge event for the residents of Balon City, and almost everyone had come since it was the weekend. The place was even more packed than normal days in the past. That was fun, Emily giggled happily while holding Alex's hand. They had just come out from a ride that she had found very thrilling. Alex, on the other hand, felt that the ride was very slow and boring. Chapter 24, Emily's Bullies. It couldn't be helped, Alex was now a core mage who was just 200 EXP points from becoming a mage at the expert rank. How was he supposed to be thrilled by something that he was faster than? Anyways, he was happy that his sister was shaving fun, so he had no complaints and willingly went on any rides that Emily picked. The price for tickets was very cheap, so they were able to afford dozens of them for just 20 Zen. Where do you want to go next? Alex asked while looking into the crowd, but turned to look at Emily when he didn't get any response. He discovered that his sister was staring at some kids who were holding giant cotton candies with full focus and drooling on the corner of her mouth. She looked like she was about to go and snatch the sweets from the kids. Emily. Alex called out again while gently shaking Emily's hand, forcefully pulling the girl from her trance. What happened? Emily realized what she had done and quickly looked away with a red face. Alex smiled at her reaction, he found it cute. Do you want some candy? Alex asked, and Emily slowly shook her head without looking at him. This made Alex's smile widen. His sister was only 15 years old, but she was already sensible. She must think that they couldn't afford other expenses, so she pretended that she didn't want any candy. Silly girl, wait here, I'll go get us some sweets. Alex rubbed her head gently so as not to mess up her look. He did this before walking toward the candy store. Emily was stunned by her brother's words and wanted to stop him, thinking that he was forcing himself to buy sweets for her, but before she could even speak out, Alex was already gone from her sight and she couldn't find him in the crowd of people. Left without any choice, she stood there and waited for Alex to come back. Well, look who dared to come out. While Emily was waiting, a hateful voice suddenly sounded from behind her. The theme park was naturally noisy and it was difficult to hear what anyone was saying unless they were standing very close to you. But for some reason, Emily was able to hear this voice clearly, and she even felt that it sounded familiar. She slowly turned around and her eyes fell on the figures of 3 young girls who were around her age. All 3 of them were dressed in expensive clothes and carrying toys that must have cost hundreds of tickets. Emily's eyes widened and her body trembled at the sight of the 3 girls. They were the red-haired girl and her 2 friends who used to bully her in school. The teachers at her school had suddenly started to care about the affairs of students, so she hadn't been bullied by them recently, but this wasn't their school and there were no teachers here. Moreover, she had come with her brother. She didn't want her brother to see her with these 3 because she believed that she had perfectly kept the fact that she was being bullied a secret so as not to worry her brother. What should I do? Should I run away? But how will Big Brother find me if I run away? I can just run home and wait for him. Emily began to think of how to escape from these 3. She wanted to run away and was confident not to get lost, but Alex would be worried when he starts looking for her and can't find her. She didn't want that. While still thinking of how to survive these 3, the 3 girls were already walking toward her and all of them had disgusted expressions on their faces as they looked at Emily. I just hate it that this ugly thing and her trash brother has the same hair color as me and my sister, it's so irritating. The girl with red hair in the middle grumbled unhappily. Look at her in that pretty gown, I'm sure she must have stolen it. No way her poor parents can afford it. One of the 2 friends added with a mocking tone. I think I saw her coming out of a haunted house earlier. Who knew I was right? No wonder the place started to stink. The 3rd girl commented. Their harsh words drilled into Emily's face and caused her face to turn gloomy. She lowered her head and didn't dare to look at their eyes. This action was instinctive because they had bullied her too much. We can't touch you in school because of those stupid teachers who won't stay out of students' business. What about now? There's no teacher to save you. The girl with red hair stood right in front of Emily and whispered to her. Emily's body trembled and she subconsciously wanted to move back. I'll break your legs if you take a single step. The red-haired girl snapped. She had the same height as Emily, but due to Emily lowering her head, she appeared taller than the latter so she could stare down at her. Emily's leg froze in the air. She didn't dare to move. Haha, look at this clown. I bet she must have pissed herself after being threatened. I don't think it's new. Trash like her must piss themselves every time. While the 2 girls ridiculed Emily, the girl with red hair was gazing at her like a predator. Emily could feel the burning gaze on her head and didn't dare to flinch. Suddenly irritated, she suddenly raised her leg and stepped on Emily's right foot. Emily's body trembled as a sharp pain spread through her leg, but she didn't dare to make a sound or even move away. Look at me, the red-haired girl ordered, but Emily kept her head lowered. I said. Look. At. Me. The hair repeated, word for word as she pressed down on Emily's foot with force. Due to the pain, Emily slowly raised her head while trembling. Her eyes were tightly shut and a pained look could be seen on her pretty face. Seeing Emily's face, the 3 girls' eyes flashed with hatred. They hated to admit it, but Emily was prettier than the 3 of them. Maybe that was why they hated and bullied her. This kind of expression suits her face very much. I want her to feel more pain. Wouldn't she look even better with juice on her head? Let's go buy some and take her to a corner to use as a throwing target. The girls talked amongst themselves while glaring at Emily. Excuse me, young ladies, what's happening here? At this moment, Alex's voice sounded from behind Emily and her tightly shut eyes snapped open and revealed a panicking look. Oh no, Big Brother is back, he's going to see. Emily exclaimed inwardly. Her back was currently facing Alex so she couldn't see him. She didn't know what to do. The 3 girls looked past Emily and stared at Alex. He was dressed in a simple jacket and shorts with 2 giant cotton candies in his 2 hands. Although he was dressed in a simple manner, they had to admit that he was extremely good looking and they couldn't help but imagine for a split moment before coming back to their senses. It's this pig's brother, what should we do? One of the 3 girls asked in a low voice. So what, my sister is here too, he can't do anything to us. the girl with red hair said confidently and suddenly raised her hand before bringing it down on Emily's face. Pa,